Here are the top 5 good and bad things about the 2024 Polestar 2 long-range dual motor with the performance pack, in my opinion. Polestar introduced a light update for the 2024 model, and the main difference is the two-wheel drive, or the single motor version, is now rear-wheel drive instead of front-wheel drive. There's also some tech updates as well. Let's get stuck into the good. Design is obviously a subjective thing and everyone has a different opinion, but I think it looks quite nice. It looks suave, it looks cool, but it also looks distinctive. Despite being based on Volvo's CMA platform, like the Volvo XC40 and the C40, the Polestar 2 does look a bit different. It doesn't look completely, like a Volvo or a rebadged model. With the performance pack option, you get these 20-inch forged alloy wheels. I'll get more on the performance pack later on. And yeah, a lot of black highlights such as the window trims and badges. And likewise, the interior is very similar. It's quite suave, it's got a bit of Swedish personality to it. Yeah, it's not flamboyant, which I quite like. Some people might not like that kind of style, but I think it looks really nice and calm. Even this wood style trimming along the center console here, matching along the dashboard. With the multi-textured door trimmings, you've got some sort of fabric on the door there, as well as leather or leather style trim. And then all across the dash is a material. It's not just scratchy plastic, it's actually a material, so that it's not going to crack or, it doesn't look nasty, it looks quite nice. Some other material also extends all up the A-pillar across the ceiling. But you do have a plastic B-pillar there, which is kind of a bit of a pet peeve of mine, having the plastic pillar, because when you return the seat belt, it kind of just smacks into the plastic there. It's already starting to scratch it a little bit by the looks of it. Passenger space is also quite good for this class. I've got excellent headroom, plenty of legroom as well. Just jump into the back. Remembering this goes up against the Tesla Model 3. I've got decent legroom. I mean, it's not the most spacious in this class, but it's definitely acceptable for this class. And the rear seat is sort of perched up a bit too, so you've actually got a good view even with the door shut. The window sill is pretty high, but I can still see out over that very, very easily. You've also got climate vents that you can change direction and turn them on and off. And you've also got seat heating under there and a charging socket. A center armrest with cup holders and bottle holders in the doors add further convenience. The screens are also quite modest. I love the instrument cluster here. When you close the door and you're driving, it changes into a very simplistic, but provides all the information that you need. But yeah, very simplistic. It's got your charge, your battery capacity there on the right, and then your power meter. So when you're driving along, as you back off on the accelerator, it'll tell you whether you're using power or charging the batteries in a very simple way. And then you've also got your speed and gear selection. And then the main touchscreen, this runs a Google system, so you can ask it questions and tell it to do things with the car. So, hey Google, can you set the temperature to 18, please?
All right, changing the temperature to 18 degrees.
It's also your friend as well, and you can ask it some pretty weird questions. Hey Google, it stinks in here, did you fart?
Sure, I'll take the fall for this one. And I'll fart again to clear all doubts.
But aside from having conversations with it, yeah, you can ask it to perform certain tasks within the vehicle. Despite being a premium vehicle going up against the likes of the BMW 3 Series and Mercedes C-Class, this is quite an affordable model in my opinion. It starts from $76,400 as a base price for the long-range dual motor. That's without the performance pack. I'll get to that in a second. I think that's a pretty good price. For a dual motor electric vehicle in this day and age, a lot of them are priced fairly high, whereas $76,000 starting price before on-road costs does seem pretty attractive to me for a premium vehicle as well. If you stack it up against the Tesla Model 3 Performance, yeah, it's not quite as quick, but it is a lot more affordable. As a driving enthusiast, I really rate this package. It handles really well, and it feels like a car to drive. So a lot of the EVs out there, they feel kind of futuristic and like you're just sitting in a capsule that's kind of separate to the driver, or it doesn't care about the driver, whereas this feels like a real car to drive. Aside from the instant throttle response that you get from electric motors, it's fun. You can tip it in, you got a bit of feedback through the steering, and it just feels, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it feels like a good driver's car. I want to go out and drive this on a Sunday morning just for the sake of going for a drive on a spirited road. EVs naturally have a low center of gravity as well because the batteries are all mounted under the cabin there. So there's very little body roll, if at all. It does flex around a little bit, which is good, the suspension, so you can tip it in and, you know, bounce around some nice country roads. But yeah, the body roll is minimal. You can just point it in, hit the go pedal, and it just rips you around. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's also very quick, especially with the performance pack option, which this has, which provides 350 kilowatts and 740 Newton meters. Polestar claims 0 to 100 in 4.2 seconds. I've done the 0 to 100 testing as well, and it's definitely very quick. Yes, a lot of vehicles are made in China these days. I don't think it's a bad thing being made in China specifically, but there are some people that are still going to turn their nose up at anything made in China in terms of motor cars or electric vehicles for that matter. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because Polestar has its own specifications like any manufacturer that builds vehicles in China, BMW, Mercedes, Audi. They all have their set specifications, and if they don't meet the specification that they issue to the actual manufacturers, then it doesn't pass, it doesn't sell, they're not going to sell it. So you don't have to worry too much about being made in China specifically, but I think it is still a thing that some people will, it's a hurdle that some people need to get over. At 405 litres, it's not the biggest boot in this class, although it's about standard for a premium mid-size sedan like the BMW 3 Series is rated at about 380 litres. It's still totally suitable for everyday use. And remember, it does have a hatch lid, so that does maximise space a bit. It allows you to get big and bulky items in there. You can fold down the rear seats and open up more space. I like this little divider as well. So you can pop that up there and you can put smaller items at the front or back and they won't roll around or bounce around. You've also got some netting on the side there and a little strap on the side here. You could probably put a bottle of wine in there and it won't roll around. You've also got a 12-volt socket. And then underneath you've actually got more space as well. Perfect for some smaller items to stop them rolling around too. There is a small boot under the bonnet at the front, but it's probably only big enough to store some charging cables or, yeah, little bits and pieces, not too much. Now this touchscreen is quite nice. As I said, it's pretty easy to understand, although some of the apps are sort of spread out a little bit in weird sort of ways. You don't know, like this is all sort of media, but then you've also got Apple CarPlay on this quadrant as well, and media up there as well, YouTube. So it's all sort of spread out, but you can configure some of this and lay it out the way you want it to be laid out, to some degree anyway. And then up the top here, you've got the main menu. So here you've got your vehicle settings. You can change around all the different one pedal driving and brake regen. And you've also got your lane keep assist systems and things like that you can turn on and off. And then your charging menu, where you can schedule and just monitor your charging there. But yeah, some of the functions here are a bit fidgety, such as climate control. So at first you might think to swipe up from the bottom, which does work, but then you hit this fan button as well and it kind of does the same thing. So it's just a little bit fiddly in my opinion. It just takes some time to get used to. This is still a problem in my opinion. I've driven a lot of electric vehicles now, and keep in mind, I only review them for a week. So if you own one of these, you're probably going to get a charger installed at your home, and if you can, that's great. But there are still a lot of people that live in apartment buildings that are not able to charge their vehicle. So then you have to rely on the charging infrastructure, the public charging system. And to me, it's just not up to scratch yet, and it's not big enough. So you can drive this thing between cities to some degree, but certainly drive it around cities and suburbs and things. And there are more and more EV charging stations popping up. A lot of them you have to pay for now, which I think is a good thing. It's not much. It's about $10 to $20 depending on how much charge you want. It seems to stop some EV buyers or owners just going there and getting a free charge for the sake of it, and they'll sit there all day, you know. But the charging infrastructure itself, it's just lacking. You know, I've been to so many chargers where the station is out of order, or you go onto the apps and it says, yep, it's fine, it's running well. You get there and it's out of order. On one occasion, I remember having just 5% battery because I was jumping between different stations. One was out of order. One had a lineup of about 5 cars on it, so I had to go to the next one. And then by the time I got there, yeah, it was down, I think 4% I got down to on the battery. I just had to wait there for 2 hours while one guy charged, he went, then another person was in line, and then he charged. So yeah, if you can charge it at home, these problems pretty much go away. But if you want to go for a bit of a road trip, yeah, you still have to endure some of the public charging infrastructure. It's not really the car's problem. It's not really the car's fault, I mean. But if you do buy this, it becomes the car's problem as well, I guess. And then the number one bad thing is that this top model doesn't come with adaptive cruise control as standard. It's really strange, I think, especially for a Volvo. Well, it's not really a Volvo, but its parents are definitely Volvo. You have to go for the Pilot Pack, which is $3.5 grand, and that includes adaptive cruise control. You can even go to the higher up Pilot Pack system, which provides the steering control as well. I just think that stuff should come as standard for a top model, for any top model, regardless of being, or despite being a premium product like this, it should definitely become as standard on any flagship model. Some of the other options, like the Performance Pack, you know, it's a bit questionable, but if you look at a lot of the premium rivals, they all got pretty pricey options as well. There you go, the top 5 good and bad things about the 2024 Polestar 2 long-range dual motor with the Performance Pack. What do you think? Are you considering buying one of these? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.